Hello there, a very good evening to you. You're watching the Uganda Catholic Television. It's a Wednesday edition of Uctv News with me, Sunday Gloria. Watch. Uganda People's Congress Party President Jimmy Akena has strongly criticized President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for assenting to the controversial UPDF Amendment Bill 2025, accusing the government of using a new law to suppress political opposition. Now, speaking during the party's weekly press briefing at the party's headquarters, Jimmy Akena argued that the amendment empowers the UPDF High Command to interfere to interfere and frustrate the activities of the parallel political actors, a move he says undermines democratic principles. He pledged that the UPC will take all necessary steps to advocate for the repeal of the law, which he termed a blatant affront to democratic governance.
The development follows the May passage of the bill by the ruling National Resistance Movement lawmakers, who leveraged their parliamentary majority to push it through, despite widespread public and legal opposition. Earlier this week, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni assented to the law, which is regarded as one of the most controversial pieces of legislation, as it provides for the trial of civilians in military courts, despite a prior Supreme Court ruling declaring the practice as unconstitutional. This has prompted many human rights and political activists, including UP's party president Jimmy Akena, to condemn the government for supervising and advocating what they refer to as an anti-people law.
Personally, I do not support the issue of matters being handled in a military court. The whole nature of a military court or the military, it is subordinate to command. So it is most likely to be abused by those who hold command to use it to frustrate political actors and political activities without ever giving justice. In many cases, they are never concluded, but somebody is going to lose a number of years, and as we're heading into a general election, it is not something which I feel will actually benefit and work in the interest of the citizens or in the interest of democracy.
Akena adds that the parliament's role in orchestrating and propagating this law eroded its institution's reputation, upon which he pledged to mobilize for the necessary support to defeat it in all the available avenues.
In my own assessment and knowing what is going on, I see we're heading for a crisis. I've been a member of parliament. I am not proud of the institution called parliament today. There are things which have taken place in parliament which do not augur well. And parliament is a very key, important institution which over the period of time has played a key role in many of the milestones Uganda has gone through. And we're going to also see what role we can play in making sure that we're not going to be subjected to military law.
On the other hand, he disputed what he referred to as President Museveni's consistent rhetoric on Uganda's economic history, in which the president portrays himself as the father of the country's economic revolution. Akena added that the incumbent regime has ruined the country's economy, leaving it in a worse state than it was under the leadership of his late father Milton Obote.
I felt that the president was very liberal with some of his statistics and facts. Example, he was saying that the economy or the taxes had increased, I think 55%. The economy had grown by 15 times from what it was in 1986. I am here to put on record that those statistics are not true. One, for example, when you talk of the currency exchange rate, and Museveni trying to be the father of the liberal economic activities which have taken place in Uganda, that is not true.
A few days ago, the government introduced a budget totaling to Uganda shillings 72.3 trillion, of which only 51% is expected from domestic revenue, while about 49% will come from borrowing, including Uganda shillings 11.4 trillion in domestic loans and roughly Uganda shillings 2.1 trillion in external grants and loans, plus the funds allocated for debt servicing and development borrowing.
The chairperson of the Uganda Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, has urged security agencies to strictly operate within their legal mandate during the upcoming 2026 general elections. Speaking at a press briefing held at the Electoral Commission headquarters on the elections of special interest groups for youth village committees, Justice Byabakama emphasized that the presence of security personnel at polling stations is solely to ensure peaceful electoral processes, cautioning that any officers who overstep their authority will be held personally accountable for their actions.
According to the law, the returning officer is required to appoint a polling constable per polling station. And ordinarily, since the Commission recognizes or is aware that the Uganda Police Force has the constitutional mandate to maintain law and order and fight crime in whatever environment, the Commission works closely the Uganda Police Force in requiring them to secure the electoral materials, to maintain law and order on polling day and throughout all other electoral activities. And therefore, our expectation is that at a polling station, members of the Uganda Police Force are in charge of the security at a polling station. However, when you look at Article 212 of the Constitution, which defines the functions of Uganda Police Force, I think it says in the performance or in the execution of their mandate, they have the liberty or the discretion to work with to call in other security agencies to lend support or to supplement their work of maintaining law and order. So the presence of military or UPDF personnel in an electoral process is the work of the Uganda Police Force, who have the liberty or the discretion to require or to request other agencies of the state who are in the security domain to lend them a hand. This should not be a problem in my view, because our security services are servants of the people of Uganda. And where there is a national process or activity, depending on the intelligence or other information they have pertaining to the security or the safety of the people and property involved in that process, it would therefore require any members of these security services to ensure that there is a tranquil, serene, stable environment that allows that activity to take place for the good of the people of Uganda. What is not allowed, however, and let me emphasize this, is any member of those security services or forces to overstep their mandate and appear to interfere or purport to take over whatever activities are taking place at a polling station. That is absolutely wrong and illegal. Members of security services or forces are not the managers of electoral processes. They are not managers of elections. This is the Electoral Commission. So any individual officer who oversteps his or her limits in law the execution of his or her duties should be dealt with in accordance with the law.
Over 1,445 patients suffering from eye and ear problems in the districts of Nebi, Zombo and Pakwach are receiving free treatment during a one-week eye and ear health camp. The operations are taking place at Wa Health Center 4 and Wa is Lamek Health Center 3. Dr. Amos Nyathirombo, an ophthalmologist and member of the Lions Club, noted that due to the shortage of eye and ear medical supplies at health facilities across Greater Nebi, many patients have been unable to access treatment at national and regional referral hospitals. Now, the camp offers much needed relief to communities that have long struggled with access to specialized care.
Over 1,445 patients with eye and ear problems in the districts of Nebi, Zombo and Pakwach are undergoing free eye surgical operations at Warel Center 4 and War Islamic Health Center 3, respectively, during 1 week free eye camp. Dr. Amos Nyaterombo, an ophthalmologist and a member of Lions Club, said due to inadequate eye and ear medical supplies at various health facilities in Greater Nebi, many patients with eye and ear problems have been in need of help, but they could not go to national and regional referral hospitals.
This camp is a general medical camp. We have eye care services, we have hearing services, we have general medicine, we have children, pediatrics, we have general surgery, we have obstetrics and gynecology. In the eye care services, last week they registered 600 plus patients, and the turnover have been more than that. Yesterday we saw 323 and listed 186 patients who are ready here for eye surgery. Those whose eyes are blind, they need cataract surgery. So to say we have got over 1,000 people, we have had help from Lions Clubs of Uganda through Lions Clubs International Foundation, which has been the major funder of this activity. Then we have had volunteer doctors. These specialists are all from Greater Nebi. They are volunteered with their own money, their own time. All these specialists, including me. Then we have Life Care Hospital in Arua. The one whose proprietor or the CEO is Dr. Emmanuel Odar, a gynecologist. He has also come and is doing down there our hair center.
Dr. Nyaterombo is optimistic that the free eye and ear camp is one way he can give back to the community, as he will be celebrating his recognition and award for his service to the nation.
Other people with eye problems, we come with some supplies from Arua, but yesterday all the drugs are gone. So we are now simply prescribing, and patients will go wherever they can get food. So whoever has that heart to help can come.
Grace Gipato, 58 years, one of the patients from Pakwach district, said they have been neglected since the government puts priorities on people living with HIV and TB, among others. She applauded Dr. Nyaterombo for making her gain her sense to see again. George Owachgiu, another eye patient, urged the public to take advantage of the health camp, as many patients cannot afford the cost of eye surgeons in bigger hospitals. He added that there are communication gaps among the health workers to patients with eye and ear problems in Greater Nebi.
Dr. Amos, oye ko program na toti ubine na wang wazok dok ote mo operation det Dong kedua do ka wasudan ma wan ko jai o ma ko kiri ay ko ma wan ki jai ngode wadano e ma pol ubino lok da wati ka keni eni do wabe ko sa operation e sha ko ni time ko wadano mo kende gide.
The eye surgeon camp, which commenced on Monday 16th June 2025, will take 1 week to help vulnerable patients from Greater Nebi.
You're watching UCTV News. Let's take a break and get back with more stories.
UCTV, good news for all.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the request show and sports, Evaluation by Hingaba Kuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a Noah car, public address system, live band, Omoke Kera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegetradio.com. Kasese Get Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
Welcome back with more stories from UCTV News. The State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adowa, has addressed mounting public concerns over alleged misconduct by the Fisheries Protection Unit, FPU, acknowledging reports of harassment by officers and imposters, particularly in Buvuma and other fishing communities. Speaking at the launch of the World Aquaculture Safari 2025 at the Uganda Media Center, Adowa emphasized that while such misconduct is regrettable and under review, the FPU's core mandate to combat illegal fishing and protect Uganda's lakes from resource depletion remains essential for the sustainability of the fisheries sector.
We all know controlling fishermen is one of the most difficult things. No one will not be demonized. As long as you're a chairman of the landing site, you will always be bad. It's like when you're a tax collector, you will not be any good. So therefore, we shall continue as government to see that those who are mishandling the fishermen in the lake, because the issue of beating a fisherman in the lake stopped. And I have started again receiving reports, even in my own district, Serere district. I have got, because I come from fishing community, I have started getting reports of beatings again, which should not be in our ears. And when I investigated, I found that because FPU is very thin on the ground, you find that FPU, maybe only 6 or 4, controls over 3-4 districts, which becomes very difficult. Now, because of that, they also try to get a manpower to help them. Unfortunately, some of these individuals take advantage of putting on uniforms, army uniform, and beat the fishermen. So I want the fishermen themselves to get organized in Bufuma, in Serere, everywhere. Have one voice, have one circle where you can air your issues. But the biggest challenge I've found in this ministry is the way the fishermen themselves are disorganized. They want to work differently. They want to work as individuals. And they want to blackmail each other. So have one association, or divide yourselves into 30, into 50, and get organized. Then those leaders are the ones to help. Otherwise, it's very unfortunate that this cry has continued. And I want to pledge and promise the country that it will be sorted. At least we have come a long way. It used to be worse. I remember 2017 when the FPU was deployed, there was terrible outcry, but His Excellency managed it, and we tried to put things together. But also, I am looking forward maybe by next week, harmonizing most of the things where we want all those impounded boats, vehicles, motorcycles, and all this, it must be returned. So next week we're going to sort out with the APU commander and the technical team from my office, and we want to see the fisherman tries to be in the lake peacefully.
And that's it for the international news highlights. Let's take a look at what makes history tonight. And it is a wrap for the Wednesday edition of UCTV News. My name is Sanjay Gloria Aboch. Have yourselves the very best of the evening.